Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin is actually the commodity. Every other commodity is going to actually explode in supply with technology and with price. That makes them all garbage investments for a long-term investor. They're in fact the worst possible investments as a long-term store of value. The king of them, gold, still underperforms the S&P index by a factor of 2 or more. So there's only one commodity in the history of the human race that wasn't a garbage investment. The one commodity is Bitcoin.
For centuries, humanity has searched for the perfect store of value, an asset that can withstand the test of time, resist inflation, and preserve wealth across generations. Gold, oil, real estate, each has been hailed as the ultimate safe haven, yet all have failed in one fundamental way. They are abundant, manipulatable, and ultimately subject to the forces of supply and demand. But what if there was one asset that defied all of these limitations? What if, for the first time in history, we had discovered a form of money that was truly scarce, incorruptible, and indestructible? Enter Bitcoin, a monetary revolution unlike anything the world has ever seen. Since its inception in 2009, Bitcoin has been called many things: digital gold, the future of money, and the most important technological breakthrough since the internet. But to Michael Saylor, it is something even greater. The executive chairman of MicroStrategy and one of Bitcoin's most vocal advocates, Saylor has described it as the most powerful, disruptive financial innovation in human history. To him, Bitcoin is not just an asset, it is a fundamental shift in how we perceive value itself. At the 2025 Digital Assets Summit in New York, Saylor took the stage to deliver one of his most compelling speeches yet: 21 Truths of Bitcoin. In this address, he laid out the core principles that make Bitcoin unique, detailing why it is not only the ultimate asset, but also an ideology, a protocol, and a revolutionary economic force. Saylor's argument is clear. Bitcoin is the only commodity that cannot be inflated, duplicated, or controlled by any individual, corporation, or government. Unlike gold, which has seen waves of hyperinflation throughout history, or oil, which can be produced in limitless supply with advancing technology, Bitcoin remains fixed at 21 million coins, forever. In this video, we will break down the most powerful insights from Saylor's speech, including one of the most important concepts: why Bitcoin is the peak commodity, the only asset that stands above all others as the ultimate long-term store of value. Please watch, share, and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Bitcoin's an ideology. Freedom versus slavery, innovation versus stagnation, sovereignty versus dependency, property versus poverty. It's a very powerful ideology. It's spreading the entire world, and there would be no Bitcoin without the ideology. It's capitalism versus socialism. It's the individual versus the collective. It pops up throughout human history. We see these themes for the last thousands and thousands of years. You see these themes in the writings of the Austrian economists. You see these themes in the writings of Voltaire and the intellectuals of the 19th, the 18th, the 17th century. You even see these themes in the Constitution of the United States. The Founding Fathers had this ideology, and you'll see it echoing throughout Bitcoin. The second truth of Bitcoin is protocol. Satoshi created a protocol based on that ideology. The 21 million coins, the block sizes, the 10-minute centers, the SHA-256 hashing. It was an integrated protocol. It's not the only way you could have done it, you know. You could have base 10 math, but you could have base 2 math. You could have English as a protocol, but there's also French as a protocol. Bitcoin's a protocol for prosperity. It's a protocol for economic success, economic empowerment. And that protocol lives on in the software. Oftentimes people say, well, what about this quantum thing, or what about that technology thing? And the point that I make to them is that English language is a protocol. If you have to upgrade the software, you'll probably upgrade the software, keep the language. Base 10 math is a protocol. If you have to upgrade the software, rebuild the computer, you'll probably keep the base 10 math. Bitcoin is a protocol. You may change the hardware, you may change the software, you may change the nodes. The protocol is simple. A bunch of intelligent people everywhere in the world would like to keep their money forever. Once $1 trillion worth of money flows into that network, they'll be looking to figure out how to keep it. And then when it's 10 trillion or 100 trillion or 500 trillion, you'll have a bunch of people speaking a language of economics, a monetary language. That is the Bitcoin protocol. Truth number 3, Bitcoin's an asset. One of those 21 million coins pops out. A lot of people just focus on the asset. They forget the ideology. They don't really notice the protocol. They think, do I have a Bitcoin or not? What kind of asset? It's the apex asset. It's better than cheese. It's better than palladium. It's better than gold. It's better than silver or copper or land or goats or cattle or lumber or pieces of paper that we call currency. Bitcoin is the asset. Right? It is the asset based upon the ideology and the protocol that results in the greatest monetary premium in the world. Truth number 4, it's not just an asset. Bitcoin's a network. Bitcoin is not just a network, it's the network. It's the most powerful computer network in the world. It's a global network. Without the network, you can't have the asset. The asset is stored in the network. The network is a manifestation of the protocol. The network creates decentralization, that's true, but it also creates fault tolerance, mission criticality, redundancy, and all of the other technical, economic, and ethical qualities of the asset and of the movement. An ideology that spawned a protocol resulting in an asset that circulates on a network. That would be a simple articulation of what Bitcoin is. It's a truth. I would hazard to guess that the great majority of people watching the price of Bitcoin don't think about all 4 of those things. And they don't think about this as much as they should. Bitcoin is immaculate. Truth number 5. It was spawned by the Immaculate Conception. A nameless, faceless programmer gave it as a gift to the world. How do you create an immaculate thing? It's a God-given thing. It's a natural thing. We've had it since the beginning of time. No one took beneficial claim to it. No one asserts control over it. No one expects to cash in on it. The Immaculate Conception is an extraordinarily important thing to the network. That, combined with truth number 6, Bitcoin is ethical. What makes something ethical? What makes it ethical is you can take title to it, you own it, no one can debase it, no one can take it from you, no one can corrupt it, no one can control it. It's a thing of natural beauty. No country will ever trust anything that another country can debase or control. No company will ever trust anything another company owns or controls. No person will ever trust anything controlled by another person. In order to reach this great plateau of ethical, it has to be beyond the corrupting influence of any human, any man-made institution, any organization of people in the world.
At its core, Bitcoin represents a battle between freedom and control, innovation and stagnation, sovereignty and dependence. These are not just abstract ideas. They are the driving forces behind financial and political struggles that have played out for centuries. From the writings of Austrian economists to the founding principles of the United States, history has been shaped by these ideological divides. And now, in the digital age, Bitcoin has emerged as the ultimate expression of financial independence. But ideology alone is not enough. For a revolution to succeed, it needs a foundation, a set of immutable rules that guide its growth. That's where Bitcoin's protocol comes in. Designed by Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin is not just another financial instrument. It is an economic law encoded in software. Its supply cap of 21 million, its proof-of-work security, and its decentralized structure, these are not arbitrary features. They are the pillars of a system that, once established, cannot be manipulated by any government, corporation, or individual. Saylor points out a key truth. Protocols shape civilizations. Just as base 10 math, the English language, and the internet have become universal standards, Bitcoin has the potential to become the dominant monetary protocol of the future. As Bitcoin's adoption accelerates and its market capitalization expands beyond trillions of dollars, the incentive to maintain its integrity becomes undeniable. As it reaches $10 trillion, $50 trillion, or even more, Bitcoin will solidify its role as a foundational pillar of the global financial system. Here are more clips from Saylor's speech.
Truth number 7. That makes Bitcoin a commodity. What is a commodity? An asset without an issuer. Gold's a commodity. Corn is a commodity. Lumber is a commodity. Why is this important? Because in law, commodities have a special status. A company in the United States can be capitalized on commodities. It cannot be capitalized on securities. There's actually a special carve-out in corporate law for publicly traded companies. But maybe more importantly, I can stand here and I can tell you that I think the price of Bitcoin will go to 13 million over 20 years. I couldn't say that about a security, right? You have legal immunity to actually express your opinion about a commodity. That makes commodities politically superior, legally superior, ethically superior, financially superior to a non-commodity, to a security. And it's not just a little bit better, it's 100 times better, right? And so Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin is actually the commodity. I studied commodities in my early professional years. Every other commodity can be created with technology, with capital, with know-how. If you were going to take your family's life savings and buy a commodity to hold for 100 years, and you thought about it, would you buy soybeans or corn or oil or natural gas or lumber, coal, silver? Well, no, they're all awful, and you know why they're awful, because it's pretty obvious to you that 100 years ago it was harder to make those things than it is today. And if the price of oil goes to $1,000 a barrel, we're going to frack it, triple frack it, hyper frack it, and we'll drive the price of oil down. Same with gold. There's been hyperinflation in gold multiple times. You know, the California 49ers found gold. We created so much gold that we crashed the economy of Europe. Every other commodity is going to actually explode in supply with technology and with price. That makes them all garbage investments for a long-term investor. They're, in fact, the worst possible investments as a long-term store of value. The king of them, gold, still underperforms the S&P index by a factor of 2 or more. So there's only one commodity in the history of the human race that wasn't a garbage investment. The one commodity is Bitcoin, right? A digital commodity. And let's talk a bit more about that. Why is it not garbage? Why is Bitcoin great? Bitcoin is a digital commodity. Every other commodity I can name is a physical commodity. Physical commodities are God-given, and anyone in the world can create them. Digital commodities were created by the brilliance of human beings in a fluke. You needed to have a brilliant engineer, Satoshi, give away this gift to the world. The world needed to embrace the gift. The protocol needed not to be defective. And after many, many years of not knowing whether it was something or nothing, it spontaneously monetized and came to life. It really is a miracle of the 21st century. Why is a digital commodity important? Well, you can vibrate a digital commodity 60 times a second on a computer. You can move a digital commodity at the speed of light. The AIs can decompose and recompose a digital commodity millions of times an hour, simultaneously moving it and distributing it all around the world at the speed of a computer. Can't do that with palladium. Can't do that with gold. There's no way Apple Computer's ever going to ship an upgrade that has multi-factor authentication on a physical commodity. It needs to be a digital commodity, and that's what makes Bitcoin special. Not only is it a digital commodity, it is the digital commodity. The most profound thing that happened is 2 weeks ago, the president signed into law via the executive order, Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. David Sachs said, Bitcoin is an asset without an issuer, spawned via an immaculate conception. It is decentralized. We recognize it as a store of value. It is our digital gold. You have the most powerful person in the world and members of the cabinet that are saying that it's the policy of the United States government that Bitcoin is the one digital commodity in the world. That's going to ripple. And, you know, I can create a digital commodity, theoretically, an asset without an issue, and I can give it a protocol that inflates it 5% every year. I could create any kind of inflationary monetary protocol. For example, corn and oil are commodities. No one doubts the fact they're commodities, but they're not scarcity. They're not capped. Bitcoin wasn't just a brilliant creation of a digital commodity. Bitcoin was brilliant because Satoshi capped the supply at 21 million. If I give you an inflation rate of 2% and the supply of gold, the economic half-life of your wealth is 36 years. When I give you an inflation rate of 0% in your digital gold, the half-life of your economic wealth is infinite. It is forever. The difference between 2% inflation and 0% inflation is you're dead in 36 years with 2% inflation, and you live forever with 0% inflation. Next time someone tells you that it's just a little bit of inflation and the 2% doesn't matter, I just want you to think about that, the half-life of 36 years versus the half-life of 1 billion years. And of course, with that observation, it stands to reason the next truth is Bitcoin truly is digital gold. Gold, what does it represent? Gold represents money and wealth in the human race for 10,000 years. It represents prosperity. It represents the king commodity. It represents the most ethical, virtuous, technically sound money. Bitcoin is digital gold. We dismiss it as being kind of a boomery idea, but the boomery idea means Bitcoin's worth more than 20 trillion because that's what the gold is worth. But the truth is everything digital in our modern era is worth 10x the analog version. If Bitcoin is nothing more than digital gold, Bitcoin is worth $200 trillion.
As Saylor explains, Bitcoin was designed to be the perfect machine, built from imperfect parts. It is a network that unites people across borders, driven not by centralized control, but by a shared belief in financial sovereignty. And as we move further into an era of economic uncertainty, the demand for such a system will only continue to grow. In other news, Bitcoin regained bullish momentum on Monday, surging past $88,000 and edging closer to the highly anticipated $90,000 mark. The leading cryptocurrency posted a 3.56% gain in 24 hours and a 5.73% increase over the past week. This rally follows a weekend of strengthening investor confidence, with Bitcoin's price fluctuating within a 24-hour range of $84,832.16 to $88,758.73, highlighting strong buying pressure. The renewed optimism in the Bitcoin market coincides with a broader resurgence in institutional interest, as recent inflows into Bitcoin ETFs indicate a shift in sentiment. With macroeconomic uncertainties still influencing financial markets, Bitcoin's continued ascent reinforces its position as a preferred asset for investors, seeking a hedge against traditional market volatility. Saylor's MicroStrategy, now rebranded as Strategy, has reinforced its commitment to Bitcoin with another significant acquisition. On March 24th, the company announced that it had purchased approximately 6,911 Bitcoin for $584.1 million in cash between March 17th and March 23rd. This latest acquisition, executed at an average price of $84,529 per Bitcoin, was funded through proceeds from its ongoing at-the-market equity offerings, including both its Class A common stock and its newly issued 8.00% Series A perpetual strike preferred stock. With this addition, Strategy now holds an impressive 506,137 Bitcoin, acquired at a cumulative cost of $33.7 billion, reflecting an average purchase price of $66,608 per Bitcoin. This move underscores the company's steadfast belief in Bitcoin as a long-term strategic asset, even as market volatility persists. By leveraging equity offerings to expand its Bitcoin holdings, Strategy continues to position itself as a leading institutional player in the digital asset space. Metaplanet, Japan's leading corporate Bitcoin holder, has also expanded its Bitcoin reserves with the acquisition of an additional 150 Bitcoin at an average price of approximately $84,000 or 12.6 million yen. This latest purchase pushes the company's total holdings to 3,350 Bitcoin, with a market value now exceeding $291 million. Metaplanet's aggressive Bitcoin accumulation aligns with its broader treasury strategy aimed at enhancing shareholder value. Having invested a total of $282 million, 42.2 billion yen, into its Bitcoin strategy, the company continues to reinforce its position as Asia's largest corporate Bitcoin holder. Do you think the Bitcoin bulls are officially back? Is Bitcoin on the verge of a major breakout? Drop your thoughts on Michael Saylor's speech in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an update. Every interaction helps the YouTube algorithm push this content to more viewers, and your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.